Marcus wiped the sweat from his forehead as he rushed between tables. The restaurant was full tonight. Every table had people waiting for food and drinks. His feet hurt, his head hurt, and his heart hurt worst of all. This morning, his girlfriend Tasha had sent him a text message. It said, "This isn't working. We need to break up." Just like that. After 2 years together, no call, no meeting face to face, just a text. Marcus had tried calling her 5 times, but she didn't answer. Now he was stuck at work with a broken heart and 20 tables to serve. Table 7 needs water. Table 12 is still waiting for their food. "Marcus, wake up," his boss shouted from across the room. The Golden Plate was the fanciest restaurant in town. People came here for special dinners and to see famous people. Marcus had been working here for 3 years now. This job was supposed to be temporary. He wanted to be a music star. He made songs in his small apartment when he wasn't working. But so far, no one important had heard his music. 3 years of carrying plates and smiling at rich people. 3 years of "yes, sir," and "right away, madam." And now Tasha was gone too. "Marcus, VIP table just came in. You take care of them," his manager Tony said, pointing to the door. Marcus looked up and saw a group of 5 people walking in. In the middle was a very big man wearing expensive clothes and gold chains. Everyone in the restaurant turned to look. Phones came out to take pictures. The host walked the group to the best table by the big window. "Who is that?" Marcus asked Lisa, another server. Lisa's eyes got big. "You don't know? That's Big Shaq, the rapper. The man is super famous." Marcus shrugged. He didn't care about rappers. He didn't care about anything right now. He just wanted this day to end. "Well, go serve them. Tony will be mad if you make them wait." Lisa pushed him toward the VIP table. Marcus walked slowly to the table, not looking up from his notepad. He didn't bother with his usual fake smile. "What can I get you?" he asked in a flat voice, tapping his pen against the paper. The big man in the middle looked surprised. He was not used to service like this, but instead of getting angry, he just cleared his throat. "I'll have the special steak, medium rare," the man said in a deep voice. He had a British accent. "Whatever," Marcus mumbled. Then louder, "Anything else?" Across the room, Tony the manager was making wild hand signs, trying to get Marcus's attention. But Marcus didn't look up. The people at the table looked uncomfortable. One man tried to whisper something to Marcus, but he ignored it. "I'd also like to know about the chef's special sauce," the big man asked politely. Marcus sighed loudly. "Look, I don't have time for 20 questions. Just order or don't, big man." The table got very quiet. The big man raised his eyebrows but stayed calm. "We'll all have the steak then," he said. Marcus walked away without saying anything else. He put the order in and went to serve other tables. He had no idea that the big man he was being rude to was Michael Big Shaq DePaul, the famous rapper, comedian, and actor. And he had no idea that Big Shaq wasn't just a customer. 6 months ago, Big Shaq had secretly bought the Golden Plate restaurant. He didn't tell the public. He wanted the place to be successful because the food was good, not because he owned it. He came in regularly to check how things were going. But tonight was the first time he had experienced such poor service in his own restaurant. Instead of getting angry, Big Shaq became interested. He watched Marcus closely as the young man moved around the restaurant. Something was clearly wrong with this waiter. And now Big Shaq wanted to find out what. Marcus returned to the kitchen with Big Shaq's order. Chef Miguel looked up from the grill. "So, you met the big boss, huh?" Miguel asked with a smile. "What big boss?" Marcus grabbed some bread rolls for another table. "That fat guy with the gold chains." Miguel's eyes got wide. "Lower your voice. That's Big Shaq. He's super famous." "Whatever. Another rich guy who thinks he's special." Marcus put the bread on a tray. Miguel shook his head. You really don't know who he is, do you? Don't know. Don't care. Marcus pushed through the kitchen door before Miguel could say more. What Marcus didn't hear was Miguel whispering to another cook, and he owns this place too. Back in the dining room, Big Shaq watched Marcus closely. The waiter moved from table to table, barely smiling, slamming plates down, forgetting drink orders. This wasn't just about him. Marcus was giving everyone bad service. Should I say something? Asked James, one of Big Shaq's friends. He's being very rude. Big Shaq shook his head. Not yet. I want to see what's happening here. Across the room, manager Tony was sweating. He kept trying to catch Marcus's eye, but the waiter ignored him. Tony knew Big Shaq owned the restaurant. He knew his job was in danger, but Big Shaq had signaled him to stay back. Your steaks should be ready soon, Marcus said when he returned to Big Shaq's table. He didn't make eye contact. Big Shaq noticed dark circles under Marcus's eyes. His shirt was dirty. His hands were shaking slightly. How long have you worked here? Big Shaq asked. Marcus looked surprised at the question. 3 years. Why? Do you like it? Marcus laughed without humor. Does anyone like being a waiter? Fair point, Big Shaq said. What would you rather do? For a moment, Marcus's face changed. His eyes lit up. I make music. I want to be a producer someday. Then his face went dark again. But that's never going to happen. Big Shaq leaned forward. Why not? Marcus shrugged. No time. No money. No connections. He looked at his watch. Your food will be out soon. He walked away, leaving Big Shaq deep in thought. When the steaks arrived, another waiter brought them. Lisa smiled widely at Big Shaq. I'm so sorry about Marcus, she whispered. He's having a bad day. His girlfriend just broke up with him this morning. Big Shaq nodded. It happens. Is he always like this? Lisa shook her head. No, he's usually our best waiter. He works harder than anyone. He takes all the extra shifts so he can save money for music equipment. Interesting, Big Shaq said, cutting into his steak. Marcus appeared again with drink refills. He nearly spilled water on one of Big Shaq's friends. Watch it, the friend said. Sorry, Marcus mumbled, not sounding sorry at all. Marcus, Big Shaq said. How many hours have you worked this week? Marcus stopped, confused by the question. About 60 so far. I'm doing a double shift today. 60. Big Shaq put down his fork. That's way too many. Do you get overtime pay? Marcus laughed. Overtime? No, we get paid the same no matter how many hours. Plus Tony takes 20% of our tips for management fees. Tony, who had been hovering nearby, turned pale. Is that legal? Big Shaq asked. Probably not. But what can we do? Jobs are hard to find, Marcus said. Then he seemed to remember himself. Why do you care anyway? Big Shaq smiled slightly. Just curious how things work here. Well, now you know. It's not all fancy food and nice music. The people in the back are working like dogs. Marcus walked away to another table. Big Shaq turned to Tony, who quickly approached. We need to talk, Big Shaq said quietly, about how this restaurant is run. Tony's face was now white as a sheet. Yes, sir. Whatever you say, sir. Big Shaq looked back at Marcus, who was arguing with a customer at another table. And I want to know more about that young man. As the meal went on, Big Shaq's table got the worst service in the restaurant. Marcus forgot their drink orders twice. He brought the wrong dessert menu. He even answered his phone while taking their order for coffee. This is unbelievable, whispered James, Big Shaq's friend. You should fire him on the spot. But Big Shaq shook his head. I want to see how far this goes. When it was time for the bill, Marcus dropped it on the table without a word. No thank you, or hope you enjoyed your meal. Nothing. Big Shaq opened the bill folder and looked at the total. He took out his credit card and put it inside. "Marcus," he called as the waiter passed by. "Yeah." Marcus barely stopped walking. "I'd like to speak to the manager." Marcus rolled his eyes. "Of course you do. Everyone wants the manager when they don't get treated like kings and queens." He walked away and found Tony hiding near the kitchen. "The big guy wants to talk to you," Marcus said. "Probably going to complain about me." Tony's face turned red. "Do you have any idea what you've done? Do you know who that is?" Marcus shrugged. "Some rapper." "So what?" Tony grabbed Marcus by the shoulders. "That's Big Shaq. He's not just a rapper. He's the ogre of this restaurant." Marcus felt like someone had thrown cold water on him. "What? No way." "Yes. He bought this place 6 months ago. He comes in regularly to check on things. And today, you've been treating him like garbage." Marcus looked back at the table. Big Shaq was watching them. "Why didn't you tell me?" "I tried. I was making signs at you all night. You ignored me." Tony was almost crying now. Marcus felt sick. "I'm fired, aren't I?" "We're both fired." Tony pushed Marcus toward the table. "Now go apologize before he shuts this whole place down." Marcus walked slowly to Big Shaq's table. His legs felt weak. His mouth was dry. His job was over. His music career hadn't even started. And now he'd insulted one of the most famous people in the world. Mr. Shaq," Marcus began. "I just found out. I didn't know." Big Shaq looked up at him calmly. "You didn't know I own this restaurant?" "No, sir. I'm very sorry for how I acted. I'm having a really bad day, but that's no excuse. You can fire me. I understand." Marcus looked at the floor, waiting for the axe to fall. "Sit down," Big Shaq said, pointing to the empty chair across from him. Marcus sat down slowly. The entire restaurant was watching now. "Tell me about your music," Big Shaq said. Marcus blinked in surprise. "My music?" "Yes, you said you make music. What kind?" Hip-hop mostly. Some R&B. I produce beats in my apartment." "How long have you been doing it?" "Since I was 15. About 7 years now." Big Shaq nodded. "And you work 60 hours a week here to pay for equipment?" "Yes, sir. And rent. And food." Marcus didn't understand where this was going. "Do you have your music on your phone?" Big Shaq asked. Marcus nodded slowly. "Let me hear something." With shaking hands, Marcus took out his phone. He found his latest track and pushed play. The beat filled the air around their table. It was good, really good. Complex rhythms with unique samples. Even in his nervous state, Marcus felt proud of this track. Big Shaq listened with his eyes closed. When the 1-minute beat ended, he opened his eyes. "You've got talent," he said simply. Marcus felt a small spark of hope. "Thank you. But talent isn't enough in this business. You need connections. You need time to work on your craft. You need someone to open doors." Big Shaq leaned forward. "You can't do that working 60 hours a week as a waiter." "I know," Marcus said sadly. "But I don't have a choice." Big Shaq smiled for the first time that night. "Actually, I think you do have a choice. But first, I need to fix this restaurant." He stood up suddenly, and his voice boomed across the dining room. "Can I have everyone's attention, please?" The restaurant went quiet. All eyes turned to Big Shaq as he stood tall next to the table. Marcus wanted to hide under the tablecloth. This was it. He was about to be fired in front of everyone. "My name is Michael DePaul. Some of you know me as Big Shaq," he said in his deep voice. "What you may not know is that I own the Golden Plate." Whispers spread across the dining room. Phones came out to record the moment. The kitchen staff peeked through the door. 6 months ago, I bought this restaurant because I loved the food. I wanted it to be successful because it was good, not because my name was on it." Big Shaq looked around the room. "So I kept my ownership a secret." He put his hand on Marcus's shoulder. Marcus flinched, waiting for the bad news. "Tonight, I came here as a regular customer. And this young man," he pointed at Marcus, "gave me the worst service I've ever had." People gasped. Someone laughed. Marcus closed his eyes, wishing he could disappear. But Big Shaq continued, "I've learned something important tonight. Something that explains a lot." He turned to face Tony, who was standing nervously by the kitchen door. "I've learned that my employees are working 60-hour weeks with no overtime pay. I've learned that management takes 20% of their tips. I've learned that there's no support for staff who are going through personal problems." The room got very quiet. Tony looked like he might faint. "As of right now, those practices end," Big Shaq said firmly. "Tomorrow, I'm bringing in a new management team to make changes. The Golden Plate will not just be the best place to eat, it will be the best place to work too." The waiters and kitchen staff started to clap. Some of them were crying. They had been treated poorly for so long. "Now," Big Shaq turned back to Marcus. "As for you." Marcus stood up slowly, ready to be told to leave and never come back. "You gave me terrible service tonight," Big Shaq said. "You were rude, distracted, and unprofessional." "I know, sir. I'm sorry." Marcus looked at the floor. But Big Shaq's voice softened. "I think you're exactly what this restaurant needs." Marcus looked up in shock. "What?" "Someone who isn't afraid to be honest. Someone who will speak up when things aren't right. Someone who understands what it's like to be overworked and underappreciated." Big Shaq turned to the crowd again. "Starting tomorrow, Marcus will be our new staff manager. He'll work with me to make sure everyone is treated fairly and with respect." Marcus couldn't believe what he was hearing. "But I insulted you. I gave you terrible service." "Yes," Big Shaq smiled. "And now you'll make sure no customer ever gets service like that again. Not because the staff is afraid, but because they're happy, well paid, and treated with dignity." The restaurant erupted in applause. The other waiters came up to shake Marcus's hand. The cooks cheered from the kitchen doorway. Only Tony stood alone, knowing his time at the Golden Plate was over. After the excitement died down, Big Shaq sat back at the table with Marcus. "Thank you," Marcus said, still in shock. "I won't let you down." "I know you won't," Big Shaq replied. "But that's only part one of my plan." "There's more?" Marcus asked. Big Shaq nodded. "Your music. It's too good to stay hidden in your apartment. I have a recording studio. I know people in the industry." Marcus couldn't speak. This couldn't be real. "I can't promise you'll be a star overnight," Big Shaq continued, "but I can give you what you need most right now." "What's that?" Marcus finally managed to ask. "Time and opportunity," Big Shaq said. "Your new job will be 40 hours a week, maximum. Better pay. No more double shifts. That gives you time for your music." "And the opportunity?" Marcus asked, his voice barely a whisper. Big Shaq smiled. "Let's just say some important producers are going to hear your tracks very soon." For the first time that day, Marcus smiled. A real smile. The kind that starts in your heart and spreads to your face. "Now," Big Shaq said, looking at his watch, "I think it's time to close the restaurant early tonight. We had a lot of changes to plan for tomorrow." The next morning, Marcus woke up early. For a moment, he thought he had dreamed everything that happened last night, but then his phone buzzed with a text message from a number he didn't know. 7:30 a.m. meeting at the restaurant. Don't be late. Big Shaq. Marcus jumped out of bed. It was 6:45 a.m. now. He took the fastest shower of his life, put on his cleanest shirt, and ran out the door. He couldn't believe this was real. Yesterday he was a waiter with a broken heart. Today he was the staff manager of the Golden Plate. When Marcus arrived at the restaurant, he was surprised to see all the staff already there. The cooks, the waiters, the cleaners, everyone. They were sitting at the tables, drinking coffee and looking nervous. Big Shaq stood at the front, talking with a woman in a business suit. "Ah, Marcus is here. Now we can begin," Big Shaq said. "Everyone, you met Marcus last night. From today, he will be your staff manager." The woman in the suit stepped forward. "And I'm Diane Lewis. I'll be the new general manager, replacing Tony." Marcus looked around. "Where is Tony? He decided not to accept my offer to stay as a waiter," Big Shaq said with a small smile. "Now let's talk about changes." For the next hour, Big Shaq and Diane explained the new rules for the Golden Plate. No one would work more than 40 hours a week. Everyone would get paid overtime. Tips would be shared fairly, with no cut for management. Staff would get free meals during their shifts. There would be paid sick days and vacation time. Anyone with personal problems could take time off when needed. The staff couldn't believe what they were hearing. Some of the older waiters had tears in their eyes. They had never been treated this well at any restaurant. "And one more thing," Big Shaq said. "I'm raising everyone's pay by 20%. The room erupted in cheers. People hugged each other. Someone started to cry with happiness. When things quieted down, Big Shaq turned to Marcus. "Marcus, you'll work with Diane to make the new schedule. Make sure everyone gets what they need. You know these people better than I do. You know what they're going through." Marcus nodded, still feeling like this was all a dream. After the meeting, the staff went to work cleaning and preparing the restaurant for the day. Big Shaq motioned for Marcus to follow him to the back office. Inside, Big Shaq closed the door and sat down behind the desk. "Now, about your music." Marcus sat across from him, his hands shaking with excitement. "I listened to more of your tracks last night. You have real talent," Big Shaq said. "But talent alone isn't enough in this business." "I know," Marcus said. "I need to work harder, learn more." Big Shaq held up his hand. "You need connections. You need the right people to hear your music. And that's what I can give you." He took out his phone and showed Marcus a text message conversation. Marcus's eyes went wide when he saw the names. These were some of the biggest producers in the music industry. "They've already heard your tracks. They're interested," Big Shaq said. "This one wants to meet you next week." Marcus couldn't speak. His dream was actually happening. But Big Shaq held up a finger. "I need you to promise me something." "Anything," Marcus said quickly. "Don't forget where you came from. These people." Big Shaq pointed toward the dining room where the staff was working. "They're like family now. Treat them the way you wish Tony had treated you." Marcus nodded seriously. "I promise. I know what it's like to be at the bottom. I won't forget." Big Shaq smiled. "Good. Now there's one more thing we need to do today." "What's that?" Marcus asked. Big Shaq took out his phone again and showed Marcus a social media post. It was a picture of Big Shaq and Marcus at the restaurant, with a caption announcing Marcus as the new staff manager and an up-and-coming music producer. The post already had thousands of likes and comments. "You're famous now," Big Shaq said with a laugh. "How does it feel?" Marcus looked at the phone in shock. Yesterday, he was a nobody. Today, his face was on Big Shaq's social media for millions to see. "It feels scary," Marcus admitted. "Good," Big Shaq nodded. "Being scared means you care. It means this matters to you." 1 week later, the Golden Plate was a different place. The walls had a fresh coat of paint. New, comfortable chairs replaced the old ones. But the biggest change was in the staff. Everyone smiled. They worked together like a team. No one looked tired or angry anymore. Marcus sat in his new office, looking at the schedule he had created. It was fair. Everyone got the hours they wanted. No one had to work when they needed to be somewhere else. He made sure the single parents could be home when their kids got out of school. He gave the college students time for their classes and studying. There was a knock on his door. "Come in," Marcus called. Lisa, the waitress, entered with a smile. "The restaurant is full again tonight. People are coming because they heard about the changes. They want to see the place where Big Shaq found his new music producer. Marcus shook his head. I'm not his producer yet. But you will be, Lisa said. Everyone's talking about it. Have you seen the comments on the social media post? People love your story. Marcus had seen them. Thousands of people had shared Big Shaq's post. Many were asking where they could hear Marcus's music. Some record labels had even sent messages asking about him. I still can't believe it, Marcus said. Last week I was just a waiter having the worst day of my life. Speaking of that, Lisa hesitated. Tasha called the restaurant today. She wants to talk to you. Marcus felt his heart jump. Tasha, his ex-girlfriend who had broken up with him by text the day he insulted Big Shaq. What did she say? Marcus asked, trying to sound calm. She saw you on Big Shaq's social media. She said she made a mistake. She wants you back. Lisa rolled her eyes. Funny how she changed her mind after you got famous. Marcus thought about it. A week ago, he would have done anything to get Tasha back. He had loved her, or at least he thought he had. But now he wasn't so sure. Did she leave a number? He asked. Lisa handed him a piece of paper. Are you going to call her? Marcus put the paper in his pocket. I don't know yet. Just then, his phone rang. It was Big Shaq. Hello, Marcus answered. Marcus, are you ready for tonight? Big Shaq's voice boomed through the phone. I think so, Marcus said, feeling nervous. The restaurant is covered. Diane is handling everything. Good. The car will pick you up at 7. Don't be late. These producers don't wait for anyone, not even me. I'll be ready, Marcus promised. After he hung up, Lisa gave him a thumbs up. Tonight's the big night, huh? Meeting with the producers. Yeah, Marcus nodded. Big Shaq says they really liked my tracks. They want to talk about a possible deal. That's amazing. Lisa hugged him. We're all so proud of you. Marcus felt a warm feeling in his chest. He had worked at the Golden Plate for 3 years, but he had never felt like he belonged until now. These people weren't just coworkers anymore. They were friends. Family, even. At 6:30, Marcus left his office. The restaurant was busy with the dinner crowd. As he walked through, several customers recognized him from the social media post. Some asked for pictures with him. Others wished him good luck with his music. Outside, Marcus saw a long black car waiting. The driver opened the door for him. Mr. Davis, I'm here to take you to the studio. Marcus took a deep breath and got in. As the car pulled away from the restaurant, he felt both scared and excited. His whole life was changing, all because he had a bad day and was rude to the wrong person, or maybe the right person. His phone buzzed. It was a text from Tasha. I miss you. Can we talk? I made a mistake. Marcus looked at the message for a long time. Then he typed his reply. I'm busy tonight. Big meeting. Maybe another time. He put the phone away and didn't check it again. Tonight wasn't about the past. It was about his future. The car turned onto a street lined with big recording studios. Signs with famous record label names glowed in the evening light. The car stopped in front of the biggest one. We're here, Mr. Davis, the driver said. Marcus stepped out, straightened his jacket, and walked toward the door where Big Shaq was waiting for him. The recording studio was bigger than Marcus had imagined. The walls were covered with gold and platinum records. Pictures of famous musicians hung everywhere. Marcus recognized many faces, artists he had listened to while making his own beats in his tiny apartment. Big Shaq guided him through a long hallway. Nervous? He asked. Terrified, Marcus admitted. Good. Use that energy. These people can smell fear, but they respect honesty. Big Shaq stopped at a large door. Remember, you're here because you have talent. Don't let them change who you are. They entered a large room with a big table. 5 people sat around it. They all wore expensive clothes and serious expressions. One man stood up when they entered. Big Shaq. Good to see you, brother. The man hugged Big Shaq, then turned to Marcus. And this must be the famous Marcus, the waiter with an attitude and amazing beats. Marcus shook his hand. Nice to meet you, sir. I'm Ray Johnson, head of urban music at Star Records. He pointed to the others at the table. These are our top producers and marketing people. They all nodded at Marcus. He nodded back, trying to look calm. Sit down, Ray said. Let's talk business. For the next hour, they discussed Marcus's music. They played his tracks on big speakers that made the room shake. They asked about his influences, his style, his goals. Marcus answered honestly, surprised at how interested they seemed. Then Ray leaned forward. We like what we hear, Marcus. We want to offer you a development deal. Marcus's heart raced. A deal? With Star Records? Yes, Ray pushed a folder across the table. 6 months in our studio, working with our best producers. We'll release 3 singles, see how they do. If people like them, we move forward with an album. Marcus looked at the papers in the folder. There were a lot of words he didn't understand. Legal terms, percentages, rights agreements. Take your time, Big Shaq said. Have a lawyer look at it before you sign anything. Ray laughed. Always the cautious one, Shaq. But he's right, Marcus. Don't sign tonight. Read it carefully. There's just one thing, a woman at the end of the table said. She had been quiet until now. We want to change your image a bit. My image? Marcus asked. Yes. The waiter's story is cute, but we need something more exciting. We're thinking of calling you M-Rage, playing up the angry waiter angle. She showed him a mock-up poster of himself looking angry, with flames in the background. Marcus frowned. But that's not who I am. I was only angry that one day because my girlfriend broke up with me. It's just marketing, the woman said. People love an angry artist. Marcus looked at Big Shaq, who sat with his arms crossed, watching. And your music, another producer said. It's good, but it needs more edge, more anger, less of those smooth melodies. But that's my style, Marcus said. That's what makes my sound unique. Trust us, Ray said. We know what sells. Your current stuff is too nice. Marcus felt something inside him change. A week ago, he would have agreed to anything for a chance like this. But now, he remembered Big Shaq's words. Don't let them change who you are. I appreciate the offer, Marcus said slowly. But I don't want to be M-Rage. In the car, Marcus couldn't believe what had just happened. He had walked away from Star Records, one of the biggest labels in the world. What do you mean I passed the test? He asked Big Shaq. Big Shaq smiled. I've known Ray Johnson for 15 years. He signed some of the biggest names in music. But he's also ruined many talented artists by changing who they are. So that meeting was a setup? Marcus asked. Not exactly. Ray really wants to sign you. Your music is that good. Big Shaq looked out the window. But I needed to see if you would stand up for yourself. This business will eat you alive if you don't know who you are. Marcus felt confused. But what happens now? Did I just throw away my only chance? Big Shaq laughed. Your only chance. Marcus, that was just one label. There are others, better ones. The car turned onto a different street, heading away from the main part of the city. Where are we going? Marcus asked. To meet someone who lets artists be themselves, Big Shaq said. Someone who cares about the music, not just the money. 30 minutes later, they arrived at a smaller building. No fancy sign. No gold records on the walls, just a simple studio with the name True Sound Records on the door. Inside, a woman with gray hair and bright eyes greeted them. Michael, it's been too long. She hugged Big Shaq. Marcus, this is Janet King. She gave me my first record deal when no one else would take a chance on me. Janet shook Marcus's hand. So you're the young man I've been hearing about. The honest waiter with the golden ears. Marcus smiled shyly. I guess so. "Let's hear your music," Janet said, leading them to a small studio room. For the next hour, Janet listened to Marcus's tracks. She didn't say much, just closed her eyes and nodded along with the beats. When the last song ended, she opened her eyes. "You have a gift," she said simply. "Your music tells stories without words. That's rare." "Thank you," Marcus said, feeling proud. "Big Shaq says you just walked away from Star Records because they wanted to change your style," Janet said. Marcus nodded. "They wanted me to be angrier, to call myself M. Rage. But that's not me." Janet smiled. "Good for you. Too many young artists sell their soul for a chance at fame. They end up making music they hate and becoming people they don't recognize." She took out a single sheet of paper and put it on the table. "This is what I can offer you. It's much less money than Star Records. No fancy marketing budget, no guaranteed radio play, but complete creative control. Your music stays yours." Marcus read the simple contract. The terms were clear, even to someone with no legal training. He would make 3 singles. If they did well, an album would follow. The studio would provide producers who would help him improve his music without changing his unique sound. "You don't have to decide now," Janet said. "Take it home. Think about it." But Marcus had already made up his mind. "I don't need to think about it. This is exactly what I want." He signed the paper right there. Janet smiled. "Welcome to True Sound Records, Marcus." As they left the studio, Marcus felt lighter than he had in years. He had a record deal that respected who he was as an artist. "How did you know?" he asked Big Shaq. "How did you know I would say no to Star Records?" Big Shaq shrugged. "I didn't, but I hoped you would. The Marcus who served me at the restaurant wasn't afraid to be real, even when it might cost him his job. I was betting that same honesty would show up tonight." When they got back to the Golden Plate, the restaurant was closing for the night. The staff was cleaning up. They all stopped when Marcus and Big Shaq walked in. "Well?" Lisa asked. "How did it go? Did you get signed?" Marcus grinned. "I did, but not with Star Records, with a smaller label called True Sound." "Never heard of them," one of the cooks said. "You will," Big Shaq told them. "When Marcus's first single drops next month, you'll all be saying you knew him when he was just a waiter with an attitude." Everyone laughed and cheered. Someone opened a bottle of champagne to celebrate. In the middle of the excitement, Marcus's phone buzzed. Another text from Tasha. "You're ignoring me. After everything we had. Fine. Good luck with your music. You'll need it." Marcus read the message and smiled. Then he put the phone away and rejoined the celebration with his real friends. 6 months later, Marcus stood backstage at the City Music Hall. His hands were shaking. Through the curtain, he could hear the crowd chatting, waiting for the show to begin. This was his first live performance, and the place was full. His first single, New Day, had been released 3 months ago. It had started slow, with just a few local radio stations playing it. But then something amazing happened. People began sharing it online. They liked the honest lyrics and the unique beat. Soon bigger stations picked it up. Then it appeared on streaming playlists. Now it was climbing the charts, reaching number 15 last week. "Nervous?" Big Shaq asked, appearing beside him. "Terrified," Marcus admitted. "What if they don't like me? What if I mess up?" "They will. And you might." Big Shaq laughed. "But that's part of the journey. No one starts perfect." Janet King joined them, checking something on her clipboard. 5 minutes, Marcus. The Golden Plate crew is all in the front row, as you asked." Marcus peeked through the curtain. There they were, Lisa, Chef Miguel, Diane, and all the other staff members. They had closed the restaurant tonight to be here. They were wearing T-shirts with his face on them. Marcus smiled. His phone buzzed in his pocket. Another text from Tasha. She had been messaging him nonstop since his song hit the radio. first with apologies, then with congratulations, then asking to meet up. He hadn't replied to any of them. "Still texting you, huh?" Big Shaq asked, noticing Marcus checking his phone. "Yeah, she wants backstage passes for her and her friends." Big Shaq shook his head. "Some people only see your value when everyone else does too." The stage manager signaled it was time. Marcus took a deep breath and walked onto the stage. The lights were bright. The crowd cheered. He couldn't see faces clearly, just shapes and movement. "Hello," he said into the microphone. His voice shook a little. "I'm Marcus Davis. 6 months ago, I was a waiter having the worst day of my life." The crowd laughed. They knew his story. It had been in all the interviews, how he had insulted Big Shaq without knowing he owned the restaurant. "That day changed everything for me," Marcus continued, feeling more confident. "It taught me that sometimes the worst moments can lead to the best opportunities, but only if you stay true to who you are." The music started. Marcus closed his eyes for a moment, feeling the beat. Then he opened them and began to sing. His voice, clear and strong, filled the hall. The crowd swayed with the music. Some sang along, already knowing the words to his songs. In the front row, his restaurant family cheered the loudest. Big Shaq watched from the side of the stage, nodding along with the music. Janet stood next to him, smiling proudly. When the show ended, the audience gave Marcus a standing ovation. He bowed, his heart full of joy and gratitude. Backstage, everyone congratulated him. "That was amazing." Lisa hugged him. "We're so proud of you." "Thanks for the tickets," Chef Miguel said. "I've never been to a concert before." "You're part of this journey," Marcus told them. "I wouldn't be here without you all." Later that night, after everyone had left, Marcus sat alone in his dressing room. He looked at himself in the mirror. He wasn't a waiter anymore. He wasn't an angry young man with a broken heart. He was a musician, making the music he loved, surrounded by people who supported him. There was a knock on the door. It was Big Shaq. "Ready to go. The after party is waiting." Marcus nodded and stood up. "Can I ask you something?" "Of course." "That day at the restaurant, when I was so rude to you, why didn't you just fire me on the spot? Most owners would have." Big Shaq thought for a moment. "Because I saw myself in you. 20 years ago, I was angry at the world too. Thought no one understood me. But someone gave me a chance instead of giving up on me." He smiled. "Sometimes people don't need punishment. They need opportunity." As they walked out of the music hall, fans were waiting outside. They cheered when they saw Marcus. He stopped to sign autographs and take pictures. One girl asked, "What's next for you, Marcus?" Marcus smiled. "My first album comes out next month. It's called The Golden Plate." The crowd loved that. They knew it was named after the restaurant where his journey began. Later, in the car heading to the after party, Marcus's phone buzzed one more time. Another text from Tasha. He read it, then typed a short reply. "Thank you for breaking my heart. It led me to where I needed to be." He put the phone away and never looked at her messages again. That chapter of his life was over. A new one had begun, and it was better than anything he could have imagined.